Hi! In this short video I want to show you my top 5 favorite shoulder stretches and movements to make my shoulders a bit more supple. I love these. I include these a lot in my own yoga practice because I personally find that sometimes my shoulders can be quite tight. It might be that I'm sitting too much at my desk, that I'm carrying heavy bags, maybe just not great posture sometimes during the day, and you might find the same thing. I find that these poses or these stretches help me in my day-to-day. I feel less tight and less tense, and I find that these help me in my yoga practice and in certain poses that I wouldn't necessarily expect. So for example, in downward facing dog, where your arms are up front, actually your shoulders, they obviously take they do take some weight, but if your shoulders are a bit softer, the pose somehow just feels more comfortable. Anyway, we're going to do 5 poses, and we're going to start with not necessarily a pose, but a little sequence of shoulder mobilization, just to wake our shoulders up a little bit. And for that we're going to be seated, and actually later on in the poses you're going to want a block or just a thick book and maybe a belt or the belt of bathrobe, a scarf, a t-shirt, something like that. So if you want to have these handy, that'd be great. And yeah, our first pose is going to be mobilizations, seated, and you can sit however you want. I like to sit cross-legged, easy cross-legged. You can have one foot on top of the calf of the other leg, you can have them in front of each other, you could sit in half lotus if you want, but just sit however is comfortable for you. And we're going to start by raising our arms into cactus arms. So our upper arms are parallel to the floor, and then we bend our elbows. And we're going to inhale, bring our forearms together in front of us, exhale, open. Inhale, bring together, exhale, open. Trying to sit nice and tall and not arch your spine too much. Inhale, bring together, exhale, open. Feeling how our shoulders work. Inhale as we bring our arms together, your shoulder blades are pulling apart. Exhale as we open, our shoulder blades are coming together. One more, inhale, open, exhale. Sorry, exhale, open. Okay, let's roll our shoulders, releasing that. Now we're going to bring our hands on our shoulders if we can. If you find that uncomfortable, you could also bring your hands on the top of your head. And we're then going to start making circles, and we're going to inhale, bring your elbows together, and maybe see if you can touch your elbows as you come into the middle. And then exhale, we circle out. Inhale, bring your elbows together or close. Exhale, we circle out. If you had your hands on your head, it would look like this. Inhale, maybe move your hands around the head a little bit if they're on the head. One more. Inhale, coming up, exhale, coming down. And let's change direction now. So inhale, coming up, and exhale, we open. Other direction. And coming up, exhale, we open. Inhale, coming up, exhale, we open. Inhale, coming up, exhale, we open. Alright, let's let go. Maybe have another little shake of our shoulders, rolling the shoulders around a bit. Lovely. Alright, now I want you to raise, let's start with the right arm, raise the right arm up, bend the elbow, bring the hand, I'll show you from the back, onto like the small of your neck here, sort of in between your shoulder blades if you can, but we're stretching now so that we get a little bit more supple. So we're going to inhale, bring our right arm up, exhale, bend, and then if you want, bring your left hand on the right elbow and just pull it down gently, gently encouraging that little stretch. Breathing here. Maybe looking onto the floor, but we don't want to, as we sit here, we don't want to pull our head too much to the side. A little bit, we're going to sit quite tall, maybe tucking the chin a little bit if you find that more comfortable, or looking straight ahead. Bring that left arm down, bring the right arm back down, and let's have another little roll of the shoulders here. Always releasing that stretch. Now the same thing the other side. Inhale, left arm lifts. So we bend the elbow, hand between the shoulder blades. Now bringing that right arm, hand on the left elbow, and we're sitting here. And again, sitting nice and tall, trying not to arch our back too much. So from the side. I mean, with arching your back, like you don't want to make like a hollow spine here. Just trying to sit nice and tall. And we're sitting here for a few breaths. Looking down onto the floor, tucking the chin slightly, or looking up. And again, not trying to get too wonky here. Not trying to pull over too much. Sitting nice and tall. Okay, one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, and then we let it go. Alright, let's roll our shoulders one more time. Okay, with the next movement, we're going to be doing that from behind our back. I'll talk you through for a moment here, then I'll show you from the back, and then we'll do it together. So first we're just going to grab either our wrists or as close to our elbows as we can behind our back, and just hold it here. Show you from the back. Holding our wrists, or maybe even like just holding our hands. And if we can, we're just going to creep our hands, walk our fingers as close as we can to our elbows. We're just sitting here. Breathing here. Shoulder blades are coming together. Opening our chest. Release. Lovely, well done. Going to do one more here, also where our arms are behind our back. So again, I'll talk you through from the front, and then I'll show you from the back. And that's one arm at a time. And we're now going to try to bring the back of our hand behind our shoulder, like between our shoulder blades, behind our back. And we're going to definitely help with our other arm. At any point with any of these stretches, mobilizations, poses, if there's pain, then come out of it. Don't go too far. You don't want to injure your shoulders. It's going to really limit you in your day-to-day and in your yoga practice as well, but you don't want to injure your shoulders. It's a really, really big thing. So any pain, come out of it. Okay? Great. Alright, so we're going to start with the right hand. We're going to bring that right arm behind our back, and we're going to bend the elbow and see if we can bring the hand behind, in between our shoulder blades. If we can't, we can come behind the back with the left hand, bring it close to our elbow, or maybe just the lower arm, and just pull it in and twist it up. Alright, I'll show you from the back so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so sitting nice and tall in my cross-legged position. I'm bringing my arm behind my back, right arm, and I'm going to see if I can creep it in between my shoulder blades without helping out. If I can't, you pull that arm a bit more, the elbow a bit more into the back, and then see if we can bend it here. Maybe bring that left hand along the back. See if we can help the hand get in between our shoulder blades here. And then we're just going to sit tall here with that one hand between our shoulder blades. I'm going to sit here for 3 breaths. And after the 3rd breath, we're going to gently release that hand from behind our back and bring it forward. Again, maybe roll that shoulder, maybe massage. A little bit of strain when we do these stretches is fine, but no pain. So be very mindful here, okay? Alright, let's do the other side. I'll talk you through it again from the front and then from the back. I'll show you. So, left hand now. We're going to bring that left hand and see if we can walk behind, like between your shoulder blades. If you can't, maybe pulling the elbow more into the body and then bending and helping the hand out with the right hand behind your back. And you might notice that one side here specifically is just more flexible, and that's totally normal. So don't worry about that. But it's always nice to sort of recognize and think, I wonder why that is, and just notice but don't judge. Okay, let me show you from the back. So again, I'm sitting in my cross-legged, comfortable position. Now bringing my left hand behind my back and see if I can bring my hand between my shoulder blades without the help of the right hand. And I personally find that it's much easier on the left side. But you can also pull that left elbow into the body and then bend and see it's helping out with that right hand behind the back. We're sitting here again for 3 breaths. Okay, and after the 3rd breath, we release. And we're rolling our shoulder. Lovely. Fantastic. Okay, so that was number 1. We're moving on to number 2. Still seated. We're going to do eagle arms. There's a pose called eagle, Garudasana, where we're standing and we're balancing on one foot and then we're crossing the leg over and crossing our arms over. Here we're only doing the arm part of Garudasana, so eagle arms. And for that, we're going to start with the right hand. We're touching our left shoulder with our right hand. And with the left arm, we can touch, with the left hand, we're touching our right shoulder for the moment. This is already a lovely stretch. We're pulling our shoulder blades apart, sort of giving ourselves a little hug. This is a lovely pose, lovely little stretch. If you don't want to go further, that's totally fine. If you want to go a bit further, you're now releasing that left hand from the shoulder. You're bringing it up, and the left elbow, the right elbow is inside the crease of the left elbow. And now we're letting go of that right hand off the shoulder. And you can either stay here with the backs of your hands touching, or you could try to see if you can bring the palms to touch. And for me, I'm not really touching the palms, but the fingers of my left hand are touching the palm of my right, as you can see here. And as we sit here now, we're going to pull our hands to the ceiling a little bit and our elbows forward a little bit. Sitting here again, not arching the back too much. I'm just sitting here as we breathe. Okay, and now if your palms were touching, let's undo that little twist and then let's let go. Lovely. Fantastic. Always rolling our shoulders or moving them however feels good to you. Little stretch, little counter movement to what we just did. Okay, with the next one, we're doing the other side. We're going to touch our left hand onto our right shoulder. We're going to cross our right arm over the left, and we're going to touch the left shoulder with the right hand. I have to be careful that I don't get things mixed up here. And we're just sitting here. If you want, you can stay here. It's a lovely little self-hug, stretching your shoulders. If you want to go to the next stage, you can let go of that right hand off the left shoulder. Now the left elbow is in the crease of the right elbow. We're letting go of the right shoulder with the left hand now. We could either just stay here with the backs of our hands touching, or you can try to twist your hands over and touch your palms or the fingers of the left to the palm, the fingers of the right to the palm of the left. Sorry, it's very confusing. Okay, and then again we're pulling our fingers up and the elbows forward a little bit if you want to intensify this stretch. And we're breathing here. Okay, and when you've had enough, just let go. Let's have another little stretch here. Lovely. Okay, fantastic. As for the third pose, next we're going to interlace our hands behind our back, like that. And then we're going to do that again, but interlacing the other way, the less comfortable way for you. And we're going to interlace our hands behind our back. We're going to pull our knuckles down to the ground, pulling straight from the side actually. So interlace behind our back, pulling our knuckles down, shoulder blades together. Here we're arching our spine a little bit, we're opening our chest. Inhale, looking to the ceiling, and exhale, let's fold down, bringing those arms overhead. If you want, you can have the heels of your hand touch, or you can release them. If the heels of your hand are touching, you're probably not going to bring your arms that much over your head, whereas when you release, it's a bit more space between your hands. Don't need to bring your head to the ground at all, it doesn't need to touch. If that feels good, if you've got that available, you could, but no need, just look to the ground. Breathing here for 1 or 2 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The next inhale, as if someone pulls us by the hands, we're going to gently come letting go. Let's just bring our hands out in front of us. Quick release, just rounding our back, rounding our shoulders here. Okay, press into our hands and gently walk them back close to us. Lovely. And now let's do the same thing, but with the other grip, the less comfortable grip. So if you remember how you were holding before, let's go for the other one. And if you don't remember, just grab your hands. Whatever you're doing automatically is probably what you just did, because it's a bit like where someone's right-handed or someone's left-handed. There will be one grip that you just find more comfortable and that it's your default. But let's go for the non-default now. So clasping in our non-default grab behind our back, pulling our shoulders together, shoulder blades together, fingers pulling down, arching our spine a bit, opening the chest. Inhale, looking to the ceiling, and exhale, folding down, maybe leaving the balls of our hands together or bringing them apart. I quite like having the balls of my hands together. And folding forward here. And don't have to bring your head to the ground again. Only folding as much, only pulling your shoulders as much as you find comfortable. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. The next inhale is if someone's pulling us by the hand, coming up, releasing that interlace, rolling our shoulders. We're going to walk our hands out in front of us just for a quick release here. Maybe bring our elbows to the ground or not if you don't want to. Just releasing our stretch. Lovely. Alright, let's walk our hands in again. So that was number 3. We're now coming to number 4, which is a little bit like what we did in that beginning mobilization, where we had, for one, our arm up and behind, in between our shoulder blades and back of the neck. And then we also did that where we placed our hands behind our back, but now we're going to combine it. We're going to see if we can bind our fingers. And for this, a belt will be a great prop. As I said, if you don't have a yoga belt, you really don't need to have it. Get yourself a towel, a belt of a bathrobe. A scarf is fantastic as a replacement, or just an old t-shirt. And let me show you how you can use the prop and how you can do it without it. So I'll have to do this from the back again. So sitting in a comfortable cross-legged position here again. Maybe rolling our shoulders up, back and down. And we're now going to, I'm starting with my right hand between my shoulder blades. So I'm pulling my right elbow a bit into my body and then bending the elbow so that my hand is between my shoulder blades. going to inhale my left arm up, just bringing my belt to the side. So inhale, left arm up. Exhale, bending the elbow. I'm going to see if I can bring my fingertips to touch and hold here. And what you want to do here is you want also to pull your elbow, the left elbow, to the ceiling. So you don't want it to point forward. I'll show you that from the front in a moment. If you can't interlace your fingers, just take your belt, drop it behind you, and hold it with the hand that's in your back, so the right hand. And then come down, walk down as much as you can, and then just hold here. And this is exactly the same pose. We're just extending our arms by using this belt. Lovely. And I just want to show you from the front what I meant when I said that we want our elbow to point to the ceiling. So just putting my right arm in between my shoulder blades, left arm up, holding my hands, and this is especially when you're holding when your fingers are clasping, rather than having the elbow point forward as you see now, which is a bit of a temptation. You want to have it point to the front against upper arm against your ear, kind of. I'm going to sit here for 1, 2, and 3, wherever you are, whether you're holding your belt or your fingers, and then we're going to release. I'm going to roll our shoulders. I find this a lot more intense on the shoulder of the arm that is between my shoulder blades, so it's in the back. All right, let's do that again on the other side. Showing you again from the back. So, again, sitting in a comfortable cross-legged, bring my shoulders, rolling them up, down, together, getting my belt onto the right where I'll be leaning it, and my left goes in between goes in the back now. So I'm going to pull my left elbow closer into the body and then bending the elbow to bring my hand between my shoulder blades. Then I'm going to inhale, right arm up, exhale, bend, and see if I can touch my fingertips. And again here, pulling the elbow to the top, to the ceiling of that right elbow of the top arm. If you can't, reach your fingers between with your hands. Bring that belt between your back. Hold it in the hand, really grab it, maybe even pulling, and then walking your hand down as far as you can, and just sitting here. I'm going to breathe for 3, 2, and 1. And I'm going to release and gently come out of this. Fantastic, well done. And here again you will probably notice that one side was easier or more comfortable than the other. I find it a lot easier on the left, and that doesn't mean that's a bad thing. What it means is that you learn about yourself, about your body, and maybe you're like, okay, well, I'll do these poses a bit more often, that I'm going to work on making my shoulders a bit more supple, both sides, and by doing that, particularly on the side you're finding more difficult. Great. We're done with the belt now. Bring that to the side. I'm going to come to our last and 5th pose, which is a variation of puppy pose. So for that you might want the block. You can put that at the front of your mat. And we're going to start by coming into a tabletop and then pushing into a child's pose. And if you want to use your block here, you can bring that to be under your forehead. So place that sort of, I don't know, a little bit in front of you. And what we're going to do is we're going to come onto our elbows. And the elbows are maybe a bit sort of shoulder width apart, maybe a bit closer. And we're coming onto our elbows, and I like to bend my elbows and bring my palms together in sort of a prayer here. The closer you are with your knees to your elbows, and the less you sort of pull backward here, the less intense it is. I personally find. Maybe you find that different. And if you want here, the block, you could just rest your head on it. And if you want to go a bit more intense, a bit more, just a deeper stretch here, like a more intense stretch, just walk your knees back a little bit, but be very, very mindful here. And then melting your heart down to the ground, maybe bringing your forehead onto the block. If you don't want to use the block, you can just remove it, place it to the side where it's not in the way. Just coming onto your elbows and melting your chest down, maybe even bringing the forehead to the ground if you want. Your knees can be hip width apart, maybe even touching your toes. Have that little connection if you want. Just staying here for a few breaths. Okay, coming off, unbending those arms and gently walking our hands in so that we're in a child's pose. And then bring your hands under our shoulders and pushing up. This is a pose I call a variation on puppy pose. Great stretch on my shoulders. I really love that pose. That's probably one of the ones that I do most. Yeah, and that's it. That's our 5 shoulder stretches. I hope you liked them. I hope that maybe one of them you really enjoyed and you're going to be doing a little bit more to keep your shoulders nice and healthy, nice and supple. And I hope you had fun, and I'll see you soon.